What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to Life's Metal. It's time for yet another rock metal update. That's right. Time for the rock metal update. I got another 7-inch update here. I've got the pile is. Here's part of the pile. I've literally got 3 piles this big of stuff that I've been coming in. I just haven't gotten a lot of videos done. I've been so busy with work and family. I just haven't gotten a lot of time for videos. So I'm going to try and get a 2-parter done, show as much of this stuff as I can as quickly as possible. A lot of metal in this first video. Metal, thrash, almost all exclusively metal and thrash. There's very little death metal in here. I don't even know if there's any. And I'm saving most of the 70s stuff, 70s hard rock stuff, which you guys know I love, for the second video. I've got stuff like UFO and gosh, I got more Aerosmith. I got more Grand Funk. I got all kinds of cool stuff for the 70s video, but I'm going to start with the 80s stuff right now. Like I said, going to go quickly. I really appreciate you guys, all the comments you leave. It's why I do these videos. I mean, what's the point of doing them if somebody's not watching and talking about it? So I really appreciate you guys leaving the messages below and telling me, even if it's correcting a mistake, because I mean, obviously I'm not a professional, I'm just a collector. So I always appreciate the points, that people make and the suggestions people give, and when they even find, something that I said wrong. So do leave a message below, and especially in this video, because there's just so much in here, your mind's gonna bust. All right, first of all, a grail. I've been looking for this for a long time. This is Hades. Of course, this is the New Jersey thrash band from the 80s, who had formed around 1978 as a cover band. This was their second single. They've got 2 independent singles that are hard as heck to find. Usually, if you can find them, they average between 50 and 100 bucks. It's got the original version of The Cross on here, plus Widow's Might. This does have Alan Tecchio singing on it. It was his first recording with Hades, and you can see obviously the old Hades logo. I love this 7-inch EP. I mean, actually it's only 2 songs. So this 7-inch 45 single. So I grew up with these guys because I was an East Coast metalhead, and Hades were an East Coast metal band. So there you go, Hades, The Cross, and Widow's Might. 7-inch. Follow it up with the I always have a hard time with this name, Cassius King, which features a few guys you may know, but mainly I'm showing a Nexus because it's Dan Lorenzo, who's a guitar player, who was also a guitar player in Hades, and currently he's in Patriots of Black. He was also in Nonfiction, among others. But you also got Jason McMaster on vocals on this rare, very rare single. This happens to be, I think there was a number on here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. So it's got one original song. There it is. This is number 30 of 55. So there's only 55 of these things pressed, and it's really thick. It's a lathe cut rather than a mass-produced 7-inch. So it's really kind of cool. If you can find it, they're not real expensive. I got this one for a really good price. I was just unaware it existed. But the thing that really sold me on this thing, besides the fact that I'm a big fan of, first of all, Jason McMaster on vocals. The guy's fantastic. Dangerous Toys, Watchtower, among many others. And then you've got Dan Lorenzo on guitar. But you also got Ron Lipinski on drums, who, of course, was in Overkill. So these are just some legends in this band. And they do a cover of Aerosmith's Sight for Sore Eyes. So, I had to have this thing. So I'm glad I was able to get that for... It basically was a gift. Alright, sticking with the thrash. This is just one I didn't have, and I finally added it to the collection, but this is Anthrax's Evil Twin. Great artwork on this one. Just a huge Anthrax fan. I collect anything Anthrax, and I have probably 20, 25 7-inch singles from them. This is just one I was missing, so glad to finally have it in the collection. This is the original Time Coast release for You Think You're Tough. So this is... I've heard some people say that's not the correct sleeve. It originally came in a white sleeve. I've had some other people say no, it was sent out and distributed by Atlantic Group, so that's the correct sleeve. I don't know. This is the sleeve it came in when I purchased it, so I'm glad to have it. I'm not the biggest Rat fan in the world, but I really love the EP and those first 2 albums, and I pretty much like their whole catalog. I own everything by them, but as far as collecting stuff, it's those first 2 albums and that EP that I love, and that's what this came from, was that first EP. And of course, you've got the Rufus Thomas song "Walking the Dog," which Aerosmith made popular, and Rat basically did Aerosmith's version of the song. So if anybody knows this album really well, tell me, is the Atlantic Group the wrong sleeve? I'm pretty sure that it's the correct sleeve, because as I recall, Atlantic was the one who distributed this single. Alright, this is an autographed copy of the Hellion single for Screams in the Night, backed with Put the Hammer Down. I think they sold a bunch of these autographed. I don't think somebody got this autographed. I think there was just, when they released this thing, they had the band sign a bunch of them and they sold them that way. So really cool to find this very cool obscurity. I'm a big fan of Anne Bowen and Hellion. I think I own just about everything from her, including I think this is my 3rd 7-inch single from her, so very cool to have. Book of Black is the one, I have it on CD, I still need it on vinyl. I didn't even know this existed. This is freaking awesome. So this is a promo CD, promo 7-inch from Germany for Destruction. It's got Cracked Brain, and I cannot remember what's on the backside. It might have been, I'm just looking instead of guessing. My Sharona. So it's got the cover of the Knack on the B side and Cracked Brain on the A side, and I actually like the cover of My Sharona, but I like the original too, so you know, not a big stretch. But yeah, really cool to find a Destruction 7-inch. I just never thought I'd find one. Never even knew one existed, so really cool to find. Same with this one. This is a 7-inch promo single, Roadrunner Records, for Arizona Thrasher's Sacred Reich. And again, you've got one great song on there. One song it's more of a, I don't know. It's got Who's to Blame, which is a great Sacred Reich song. And then it's got 31 Flavors, which is more of a, I don't know, a departure in sound, a purposeful departure in sound, where they're telling people to basically, you know, you don't have to listen to just metal. There's lots of music out there. Check it all out. So it's kind of an interesting song, but it's kind of an odd choice for a single. I don't see a... actually, I'm wrong. There is a side A. So 31 Flavors is a side A. So yeah, really weird choice for a single from that album, because for most metal fans, it's probably the least favorite track on there. But it's a cool song. You know, it's maybe they thought with the popularity of stuff like, you know, Anthrax had those kind of, you know, rap metal crossovers, and maybe they thought 31 Flavors would cross over as well. But as far as I'm aware, it didn't, you know, become a big hit. But regardless, finding a Sacred Reich 7-inch, not something you see very often. There are about 4 different ones of these, and I think I almost have them all now, but this is a Megadeth jukebox only single. So you've got Crush 'Em from the Awful Risk record. I'm not a fan of that record whatsoever, but there's a few songs on it that I like. And Crush 'Em, which is very much, sounds nothing like Megadeth. I like that song for many reasons. First of all, it's a hockey song. There's no doubt about it that Dave was a hockey fan, and the fact that he called Crush 'Em, and you know, the Flyers are Orange Crush, and I know that he's had some connection with the Flyers in the past. I can't believe that that song has some sort of Flyers connection. But regardless, very cool to find the Crush 'Em radio edit, and the backside is Breadline radio edit. So just a collector's thing. It came in a white sleeve like this, and they didn't have any capital sleeves or anything like that. So like I said, I think there's 4 of them, with Countdown to Extinction, Symphony of Destruction being the first one of the bunch. This one's not in the best condition. The vinyl's in good condition, but somebody wrote all over this one. But this is another one of those jukebox only singles. This is Bridge and I Am I by Queensryche. Again, came in a white sleeve. You can see somebody wrote on it, but it was not expensive, so I grabbed it. Not exactly my favorite Queensryche song. Again, when it comes to Queensryche, it's much like Rat. You know, I love the first EP and those first 2 albums. Everything after that, there's songs I like on them, but those first 2 albums and that EP, I love them to death. Of course, that's what happens when you grow up with something, right? I grew up in the 80s, and those were the big albums in the 80s for me. So, all right, Striper, Two-Time Woman. This is a rarity from the Against the Law album. Again, no idea who decided to pick this as the single. It's got to be one of the worst songs on the album. Not musically, but lyrically, it's just so freaking cheesy. When there's so many great songs on that album, this has always been my least favorite track on the album. So, not sure who or what decided to, you know, pick this as a single, but whatever. This is I believe a Spain single. Yeah, Spain single. from Against the Law. It's Striper. It's rare, so of course I had to have it when I finally found a copy for a decent price. Basically bought this in a lot with a bunch of other ones, so good deal. I'm glad I have it. Like I said, it's just not my favorite track by them. So there's this censor label on that one. But yeah, I think Against the Law is a great album from them. I mean, shoot, the title track alone is, you know, one of the best ones. Rock You to Hell, Lady, Caught in the Middle. There was some great tracks on that album. That wasn't one of them. All right, next up, Maniacs. I bought this in the same lot that I bought that Striper one in, a Spain pressing. So these all came from Spain. I bought it from a Spain seller. So you know, I dig this band. So I probably wouldn't have paid a lot for this one, even though I do like this band. I think I have 2 or 3 albums, a 12-inch vinyl. I think I actually have 2 pressings of their first album because I have one on the Canadian label. Yeah, I'm forgetting the name of the label. Anyhow, but I never owned any of their singles, so this was cool to find. Maniacs. So we got Gonna Make You Rock and Are You Ready? And you can see the back. It's got all the everything's in Spanish, so of course I can't read a dang word of it. Tu voy a hacer baile rock and estás preparado. Let's try it again. Estás preparado. Preparado? Yeah. My Spanish sucks. Sorry. I try. I'm in New Mexico. A lot of Spanish-speaking people here, but man, my Spanish blows. I wish I would have paid attention in high school, honestly. I really wish I would have paid attention and actually learned it rather than just memorizing it long enough to get through the tests, you know. All right, this is a recent pressing. It's not an old pressing, although it looks like it. This is Steeler American Metal 81. This came out in 2020 on F&A Records. It is autographed by Ron Keel. This is pre Yngwie Malmsteen in the band, but I just thought it was real. I love Steeler. I like Ron Keel as well, so I had to, you know, grab this one when I found a copy for a decent price. I don't know how I missed it back when it first came out, but I did just until recently. Found this one in some bins. I've been out of town a few weeks. I was in California for a while. I was in Arizona for a few days, and I found this I believe this one I found in California, but this is Keel, The Right to Rock, and it is a promo single. I think it's stereo on both sides. But yeah, actually someone put a date on there of February 20th, 1985. But yeah, you can see I don't even know if it's the correct sleeve. I haven't looked it up yet, but this is the sleeve it came in. But I mean, I found this for $1. So yeah, can't lose for $1. All right, keep going with the metal. I am already 12 minutes in. I got to go faster. All right, this one I've had for a while. It's not new, but I did pick up this version. What's the difference? Well, 2 different countries. This one here, the one that I've had for a long time, if I can get it out of the sleeve, is a gatefold, and the vinyl slips into here. Whereas this one here is a standard edition, and I believe this is a UK pressing, if I'm not mistaken. I should have looked it up beforehand. I didn't write on the back like I've been doing, but again, Dio, Ronnie James Dio, anything related to Dio is definitely welcome in my collection. So, excuse me, glad to have it. I just thought I'd show you the differences in the 2 different. I believe they're both UK pressings. Yeah, I think so. And they're just very similar, but just 2 different pressings. So there's some other slight differences. The Dio is red here, the Dio is black here. You know, minor stuff, but very cool to have. Except I'm a Rebel on the logo label. Backed with No Time to Lose. Of course, I'm a Rebel was a track written by George Young, brother of Angus Young, and it's kind of got that AC/DC vibe, but it definitely has the, you know, that Udo's classic vocals. I love the song. I love Accept, so another one to add to the collection. These are some grails going on right here. This is He's a Woman, She's a Man by Scorpions. Uli Era. There you go. Scorpions is my favorite. I like that, you know, all Scorpions pretty much, except for, you know, a few things that they put out. But the Oli era is my favorite, and songs like He's a Woman, She's a Man, I mean, those are the tracks I just grew up with. And it's backed with The Riot of Your Time. So, Japanese pressing, obviously, on the RCA label. Absolutely stone mint condition. It's pretty amazing. I rarely ever find beat up Japanese copies. I don't know if people just took really good care of them in Japan, or I don't know, but they're always in really good condition. And you rarely ever see one that's all tore up. And then this is There Anybody There from the Scorpions. Again on the RCA label, Japanese pressing. It's got the bubblegum boob cover. And then Rock You Like a Hurricane, which I know it's overplayed, but I love that song. And let's see, the B-side on this one is, I can't see it. I don't know, the camera doesn't look too dark on the screen, but it is really dark in here. I just realized I literally only have one light on in the room. I just didn't pay attention to my lighting very well today. Coming Home is on the B-side. So yeah, Scorpions. And I bought all three of those, and the one that's going to be shown in this next one from the same seller. I got them for a smoking deal because I bought them at the same time. I also got another Oli era one that I'm not showing here because I already have it. I'm probably going to use it as a trader, but I'll talk about that later. Anyhow, this is Michael Schenker Group, Japanese pressing, and you've got Cry for the Nations and Bior Pleasurette on the B-side. All right, no more Japanese pressings for the moment. But next up, this is Austrian, not Australian, Austrian heavy metal band. I'm sure if you ever seen, if you don't know where Austria is, right next to Germany, and if you ever seen The Sound of Music, Austria is a big part of that movie. Anyhow, this band comes from Austria. The name of the band is NWOBHM. This, I believe, was their very first single. Good Morning Sir, recorded live, backed with reggae, not music, but style music, but the name of the song recorded live. And these guys were around in the late 70s and the very early 80s. Part of that new wave of heavy metal that was coming around in the 80s. Very much has a huge Deep Purple vibe to it, But I like NWOBHM. I have all three of their studio albums. I have 4 of their singles, now 5. So I'm always looking for some. And I actually found 2 NWOBHM singles, so I grabbed the other one too, even though I already have it, and I'm sending it to a buddy of mine who I think might appreciate it. All right, let's see here. I probably should have shown this with the keel, but here is Yngwie Malmsteen, Making Love. Yngwie Malmsteen singles do not show up often, especially in the United States. I don't know, I've never seen one, out in the wild. I've obviously picked this one up online. I believe this is a German pressing, maybe a UK pressing. It's hard to tell. It's probably UK pressing. Usually German pressings have that big Gemma thing on it, and I don't see that here. But anyhow, Yngwie Malmsteen, Making Love, backed with Eclipse. Alcatraz with Yngwie Malmsteen. This is Island in the Sun, backed with General Hospital. Again, it's got the back, and I did pick this up from the same seller I picked those other Spanish singles up from. So you've got General Hospital on the B-side, and then here is a Japanese single for Island in the Sun that I picked up from a different seller, but it has a different B-side. This one has Hiroshima Man Amor on the B-side. So 2 different Alcatraz, Yngwie singles, 2 different countries, 2 different B-sides. All right, Saxon, this was 88, 89, I don't know. But this is I Can't Wait Anymore, from one of their least liked albums. They were obviously trying to, for that mainstream Def Leppard sound at the time. This would have been what? I think it was 88. So yeah, they were just trying to play off that, and gain that success in America. I can't blame them for that. At the same time, I blame them for that. But I do actually like this song, and I love the B-side. There's a live version of Broken Heroes live in Madrid, so that's kind of a cool inclusion as well. Saxon, anything Saxon, I'm going to pick it up. They're always welcome to my collection. All right, we're going to keep going. Judas Priest, this is a Diamonds and Rust US promo single. So you got the mono and the stereo pressing. This was a little bit pricey. These never show up, but this thing is, with the exception of a little bit of bent in the Columbia sleeve, which I can easily replace, this thing is unplayed. It's perfect. I played it, I mean, not a pop on it, so very cool. And yeah, you know, this is the first single I believe they released with Columbia Records back in 78, 79, I don't know. First single they released in the US anyhow on Columbia Records, as far as I know. Somebody can correct me on that if they know different. This is UK pressing of Take on the World. It's Starbreaker in the CBS sleeve, Judas Priest. And then this is a new single that came in the Metal Hammer magazine. But this is Crown of Horns, backed with Painkiller Live. Alright, that's that pile. 20 minutes in, I gotta cook. Alright, getting into some new wave of British heavy metal stuff. I'm gonna go fast. This is actually a replacement copy. I had one of these, but it wasn't in great condition. This one's in stone mint condition. This is Waited Too Long, backed with Play It Loud from Diamond Head, an early, you know, pre-MCA single. Great single. I love the early Diamond Head singles. I think I like them almost as much, if not better, than their albums, but great single from here. This one is cool, and I'm so glad I had it. It was given to me by a friend. I've been looking for this original single for years, and it just never shows up. If it shows up for under $500, yeah, good luck. This happens to be a bootleg version that came out several years ago. I don't know if there was even a year on here or not. This is number 144 of 250 copies pressed. I believe this thing was pressed in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. There's no information on here about it, but this is Ark. The song is War of the Ring and Ice Cream Theme. Fantastic. New wave of British heavy metal single. Some of the singles from the new wave of British heavy metal are better than the albums, and that's the case with this. This is just fantastic. Not that I'm saying they're a bad band. I'm just saying this single is fantastic. Highly worth getting if you could find a copy for a good price. I did see recently somebody had the they had the record without the sleeve on it on eBay for like $100. So I'm not interested without the sleeve. Another one, this is on Heavy Metal Records. They were kind of like the under label, under Neat Records for the new wave of British heavy metal, but this is Twisted Ace. I like this song a lot. I don't know much about this band. This is just on, you know, I just had this list of records that I've been looking for years, and when this one popped up, I jumped all over it. And yeah, it's just a good solid new wave of British heavy metal album, a bit melodic. Let me see if I can. So Firebird and I Won't Surrender. Here's the back side, and you can see the center label as well. Heavy metal label. I think this was 1980, 81, somewhere in that area. I don't see the year in here, but it's not that big a deal. Twisted Ace. All right. I like this band. Not real big on this song. This is Tigers of Pantang. I love their first album. Love their early singles. They kind of had this punk meets metal vibe, like Motorhead or Tank or, you know, those kind of bands. But then they just kept getting more melodic and more of a, you know, they moved away from the punk sound, especially when their second album came out and they had a different vocalist. But then here, this is definitely a reach for a hit single with Love Potion #9. So not a big fan. John Sykes played on it. Do like John Sykes. I actually like the B-side better, which is the Stormlands. That should have been the A-side. But just a cool single. I'm always looking for new wave British heavy metal stuff, regardless of, you know, if it's a song I like or not. But yeah, cool single, cool cover. Another band who's very similar to some other bands I talked about earlier. I liked their first EP. I loved their first two albums. With Power Mania, I thought it was okay. It was really, when it came out, I was disappointed because it was very clean, shiny. You know, it just didn't have the rawness of the first couple of albums and their old, you know, independent stuff. But in any case, Hello America is a great song, and I always liked this cover as well. How I didn't have this one in my collection earlier, I don't know, but glad to finally get a copy. This is Good Morning Freedom on the B-side, and this would have been what? This had to be what, 1980, 81? 1980, and this is a UK pressing. Motorhead, City Kids, and Motorhead. I could have probably put this in the 70s one instead, but regardless, this only Motorhead single I have to show this time. And again, I actually have several different versions of this. It's just another version of this single. Again, one of those bands that I collect anything by. But oddly enough, finally a black vinyl version. I've got several other versions. They've even got alternate covers. Like I have the blue cover version of this. So this particular cover has been used for more than one single as well. Motorhead, like I said, always welcome in my collection. All right, looks like we're getting into some newer stuff. So here we got some Haunt. This is Hell Tracks, orange vinyl. This was a hookup from my buddy Kevin, Metal War God on YouTube. Look him up. Great guy, huge knowledge of 70s, 80s to modern heavy metal, power metal, thrash metal. Look it up. But this, I think this is their latest 7-inch single, if not mistaken. And I also picked this thing up, actually, for $1. I got this in Arizona. I have a lot of friends in Arizona, and I didn't even tell them I was there because I was there for such a short time. I didn't have time to meet everybody. I did get to hook up and hang out with my buddy Ron and his wife, but that was it. I was only there for like a couple of days, and that was it. But anyhow, I did manage to go to this record store, and they had this big pile of 7-inch singles that was under a bin, and my wife found it, and she pointed to it, and she went up front. She goes, "How much is this?" And she brought this up. She goes, "All the singles under there are $1." Score! So yeah, I picked up this Haunt Flexi for $1. So Ghosts is the name of the single. All right, this is this is actually a split. Mad Butcher and Brainstorm. This is a Japanese band, Japanese pressing. This is from the 90s. This is very much raw, gutsy crossover thrash. So it definitely has a hardcore punk influence to both of these things. Super fast, crazy stuff. But Mad Butcher is kind of a name that I've heard before. Brainstorm is, yeah, that name has been used multiple times. And there's a band from Germany who have tons of albums out that most people know, but that's not that band. Both these bands are from Japan. This is Candlemass picture sleeve. This is one that a friend gave me for literally nothing, which is always appreciated. So we've got, I can't see it, there's too much glare on it. Black, gosh, I cannot read. Look how little itty bitty that type is. I don't know who the designers are these days, but man, they just, you don't put 6-point type on the back of the things for people to read, because it's hard to read unless you're in very good lighting, or you're not old like I am. But yeah, this is Black Dwarf and Demonia 6. Yeah. So that's the sleeve that actually came in here, but it's actually one of those poly sleeves. These sleeves tend to stick to picture discs, so I don't really care. I don't really keep them in there because I don't want them to stick and cause issues. So there it is, Candlemass. Pretty dang dark too. I don't know if it's still better that way. Yeah, that looks good. Candlemass. That's some epic doom metal as opposed to traditional doom metal. Alright. Skeleton Witch. This is At One with the Shadows. And the B-side is Bringers of Death. Skeleton Witch are a blackened thrash band, just thrash metal with kind of black metalish vocals. But I like them. Not everyone's my favorite band. It's don't get me wrong, it's not bad at all. But I've got to be in the mood for those black metal style vocals. And I can listen to thrash every day of the week, and I do. But those black metal style vocals, I got to be in the mood for them. So, all right, this is a Rumpelstiltskin Grinder. Nothing Defeats the Skull. Again, another thrash band. And I believe this is a split. So let me double check it. Yeah, with Gloomiest Doom, Urine Trouble. Bunch of hands reaching out of a urine lake. But yeah, Rumpelstiltskin Grinder are a thrash band as well. I have a couple singles by them. They were actually on that Relapse series they did, that thrash metal series. It was like, I think there was like 6 different, releases in that series, and they were one of them. So really cool. I like the cover art too. Really nice. Another split, Napalm Death and Voivod. This is Phonetics for the Stupefied, backed with Voivod Forever Mountain. I didn't pop this one open yet. This is Midnight, Rebirth by Blasphemy, backed with Afterbirth. Another, you know, newer band. This is Winterhawk, Dark Zone. Backed with Bible of the Devil, Valhalla Hola. Another one of those split EPs. I'm always like perplexed as to where to put these things. And I'm 30 minutes in and I've still got a... I'll just keep going. Alright, Overdose. This is kind of a heavy metal meets Motorhead, you know, thrash meets punk kind of stuff. Really cool. I dig this band a lot. I believe they're from, let's see here, made in the USA, but where are you guys from? I thought they're from Texas. I could be wrong. But regardless, very cool. Overdose. Screamer, New Wave of Traditional Heavy Metal. This is Red Moon Rising and Keep On Walking. 7-inch single. Vita Ford, Hungary. Backed with Big Gun. Another one of those ones I found. I believe I got this one for $1, and it's in great condition. Could have put this with a pile of new wave of British heavy metal bands, but this is Fastway. This is the... Actually, I have this single with my original first album of Fastway. I remember when I purchased it, it had the single with it. So, as such, and being the anal collector I am, I had to keep it in with the 12-inch record. But then I found this one cheap, so I grabbed it. So this is the first single. It's a single-sided single. The back is white. There's no grooves on the record. Then this is Far, Far From Home. Keeping on with Fastway. This is Easy Living, back with Say What You Will, which were the two hits on the album. They actually got quite a bit of airplay on that first album for those two tracks, Easy Living and Say What You Will. Of course, Fast Eddie Clarke being the guitar player, ex-guitar player from Motorhead, and where the word Fast came from, and then Way was supposed to be Pete Way of UFO joining the band, but he bowed out to join Ozzy right before the first album was recorded, but they kept the name. Fastway, We Become One, back with Crazy Dreams, picture sleeve, huge upgrade to my Fastway collection, and The World Waits For You, backed with Doing Just Fine. And I believe all these are UK singles. And I'm going to go through the rest of these really quick. This is a Japanese band, Vow Wow, which I've talked about in past videos. Kind of just getting to know these guys. I'm not a huge... I don't know a lot about them. I really am just getting into them and discovering their stuff. So they were Bow Wow and back to Bow Wow. But basically a band formed in the 70s, heavy metal, hard rock. So this was Helter Skelter, which is the cover of the Beatles track. Why record companies always want to use covers as the single, I don't know. And Keep On Moving is the B-side, which is a better track in my opinion. This is Vow Wow, Don't Leave Me, backed with Nightless City, kind of melodic heavy metal, you know. Let me give you a picture in the back. You can kind of get an idea, you know, what the band sounds like by looking at them. You know, they look like, you know, guys like Dirty Looks. So that's kind of what you're getting style-wise here. This is Vow Wow, Cry No More, backed with Sign of the Times. Picked this up, this UK copy up from Vinyl Tap Records in UK, who I buy a lot of 7-inch singles from. I usually buy a lot at one time because the shipping's expensive. So if I buy, you know, 10 singles, and he doesn't raise the price of the shipping for 10 or 1, so it's always worth it. All right, and that's the last one I'm going to show for this video. This is Vow Wow, Rock Me Now, backed with That Girl in Red, and this one I also got from I keep wanting to say Spinal Tap, Vinyl Tap. So Vow Wow, there you go. All right, that is my very long. If you hung in till the end, I appreciate it. Leave a message below, and that's it. God bless. Stay strong.